traffic and even running red lights at times. We've had a couple of close calls, but I have not seen that the vehicle has struck any other cars. Copy that.
Okay, cool. This is
All right,
crazy.
copy.
Okay. Guys, I am out right now. At the Niagara
Great job
Falls.
so far. Very good. Thank you. Yeah, I know it's not easy.
There's nobody in my chat yet.
You got a speed tracker?
How does it look, guys? I can't actually see the chat if people are typing, which is not great. Yeah. Okay, so pill connection okay? Am I like going strong here? Or is this really scuffed? He just keeps clearing his throat. Ziggy, welcome. Am I okay?
Yeah, there's no question about that. The suspect is extremely desperate, trying to get away at all costs, even driving into oncoming traffic, backing up into officers, and almost ramming a patrol car to get away when he drove down a cul-de-sac. We've seen speeds as high as 80 miles an hour on some of the surface streets, and the suspect has been in basically the same area for the last 20 or 30 minutes or so, turning off of Van Owen onto Kester, made that turn maybe 6 or 7 times since we've been following it. Now, LAPD did have a patrol car right behind. We understand they did approve the pit maneuver, but for that to happen, the suspect's going to have to be in an area where the vehicle is really slowed down. You can't do the pit maneuver, hit the vehicle from behind when the suspect's traveling at speeds 60, 70, 80 miles an hour. I believe the limit's around 30. And we do see now that the LAPD patrol cars that were right behind this vehicle earlier, Colleen, they have pulled off. Now, they have an LAPD helicopter overhead.
No,
it's
that wasn't me.
interesting
That
that
was
the
a
suspect
chopper
has been
guy.
staying in the same area, probably a 10-block radius here in the Van Nuys area this entire time. That allows LAPD officers to deploy, and it wouldn't surprise me if they try a spike strip soon. We understand the original want on this suspect is that this individual, a man, is wanted for stealing a vehicle, but not this one. We believe there are Idaho plates on this car. They also believe that the suspect is armed. So it really does change the dynamic when you have all those criteria, and then you have a suspect so desperate to get away that they're driving as fast as 80 miles an hour in probably a posted 30-mile-an-hour zone.
Yeah, we had a couple of chases yesterday, and now there's a chase when Jenny and I are at Niagara Falls right
Again,
now.
we did see the
Streaming on her
LAPD
channel.
so close behind this driver, but then it does appear that they have backed off, and you can see why, Scott, because the LAPD they really have to answer if somebody does get hurt in this pursuit. But again, if they think that this person is armed and dangerous, they certainly cannot let this person go.
He's going in circles, supposedly.
Yeah, it's sort of a catch-22, Colleen. It really is. You want to be right behind him with a patrol car, just in case the suspect, in this case, we understand there's a victim of some sort who's at the hospital. I don't quite know the dynamic there, but there's a victim, we understand, at the hospital. We don't know their condition. But in a situation like this, they'd love to have a patrol car right behind this vehicle. They believe this individual is armed, so that if the individual does foot bail, get out and run, at least they can surround him immediately with officers, set up a perimeter, and try and get him into custody. In a situation like this, when the suspect's driving this erratically, it's very difficult because the closer they get behind the suspect with a patrol car,
I don't know what's
the
up with
more
this guy
erratic the suspect drives. Already driving extremely dangerously into oncoming traffic, almost ramming a patrol car, going up onto curbs, backing up into traffic, those types of things. And so they've backed off for the moment. As you mentioned, and I mentioned earlier, it's just that time of day with summer.
Seems like
kids
he's done
out
with the
a little after 10. You have a lot of people out on these streets, and so it just makes it that much more dangerous, that much more chilling. We've seen so many of these types of incidences just like this, and people have gotten hurt or
Sean.
killed. We're on Heartland now. It looks to be, I'm not sure if this is a cul-de-sac as well. No, it looks like there's a turn before that. So one thing, Colleen, because the suspect has stayed in this general vicinity, I believe they may be able to get a lot of officers in some of these intersections and maybe throw out a spike strip. At least that would slow
when the person starts doing like
but it's
predictable
so hard to
patterns
predict,
like this, they can often get somebody set up for a spike strip.
He
is moving
it's very
pretty
hard to
quickly.
predict which turns they're going to make because they're driving in all these different neighborhoods. It's not as though they're doing a square. They're taking, Kester is one of those busy streets. Of course, I think about the schools in this area, and I think about how lucky a lot of these parents have already dropped their kids off to summer school. Look at passing right in front of that fire engine. But again, this driver is taking extreme risks, going through intersections, disregarding any rules of the road here right now, going on the opposite side. It makes me very concerned. The only saving grace in a weird way is that obviously the police helicopters, our helicopters overhead, this community hears there is activity, and many times when you hear activity, you know you need to stay inside. So again, and you never want this person to jump out, bail if they might be armed. Oh, goodness
that'd be
gracious.
cool. I'm unable to
this
right
person
now.
takes such extreme risks just to get away. Again, you don't want them to necessarily do a foot bail either, Scott, because you don't want them running through a neighborhood if they are armed.
Yeah, there's no question about that, although I think more than likely they prefer the suspect out of that vehicle because there's just so much danger at these types of speeds around this area, crosswalk traffic, driving so erratically, although, as you mentioned, you don't want someone, if he does have a weapon, out in a neighborhood, in a perimeter, with that gun. But in this situation, everybody in this area is at risk. People walking on the sidewalk, people driving their cars. As I mentioned, though, I've seen the turn from Vano into Kester maybe 6 or 7 times. Yeah. And that's what believes me to think if the suspect continues in that area, on those streets, eventually they could try a spike strip. I know they did approve the pit maneuver, but it's extremely difficult to do a pit maneuver when the suspect is driving at this rate of speed.
People hit the thumbs up.
And when there's so much traffic around. You can't really do a pit maneuver when you have opposite direction traffic. If the vehicle spins around and goes into traffic,
easy, it's free.
Then it's sort of tough. It's like the LAPD sort of, in a way, almost caused the accident. So they don't want to do that, and the suspect isn't going slow. If you go around a corner at 15 miles an hour, you can do a great pit maneuver, right? You hit the back of the vehicle and it spins out. If you're going around a corner at 40, it just doesn't work. It doesn't work. It's just too dangerous. But you can tell people are just getting out of this individual's way. We're back on Hart Street. We've been on Hart Street probably 5 or 6 times as well. So staying in this one area.
And I think about these speed bumps, these people who, these residents, they fight for people to slow down, not drive fast in their neighborhoods. Anybody knows when they've tried to get a speed approved for their neighborhood, it takes a lot of work. So it's helping them with this driver, at least slowing down this driver's speed. And again, it's very hard to figure out. We are still getting details, so it's sort of a drip of details that we get in. But of course, we know this is someone who has stolen a vehicle, not necessarily this vehicle, Scott. So that's where the confusion might be happening. Is this their vehicle with out-of-state license plates? Who is the victim? What led up to the person stealing a car and this victim in the hospital? There's quite a few pieces to this puzzle that we're trying to answer ourselves.
Yeah, there's a lot of details we don't have. We're piecing it together as best we can. We have seen from time to time, though, that the suspect appears to be agitated, really moving around a lot inside the vehicle, looking up for a moment, trying to see the LAPD helicopter. We saw that on multiple occasions. We're back off of Van Owen onto Cedros now, back through this residential area. But they do have the LAPD helicopter overhead. The suspect's not going to get away, but, this is just so dangerous, and the speeds at which the suspect is traveling just sort of, exemplifies that. It's just really scary to see this out on these roadways. There was a point where it was almost over. The suspect went down a street into a cul-de-sac. There was 3 or 4 patrol cars that were getting set up to box the suspect in. But really, they don't want to get right in front of them. They don't want to get rammed, and they didn't have time to box them in and then get out of their vehicles. If they had, they could have pinned them in that
maybe
cul-de-sac.
they can, but
but right now, what you're seeing is the suspect is traveling to the same neighborhood in Van Nuys, still erratically at high speeds. Now, we don't really have much on the information about the victim.
Right.
We have a report of a victim.
Prediction, yeah, I don't know.
And
I
then
don't
we
have a
sort of
mod
the
to
pieces
run
that
it, and
you
I don't have
mentioned, but
any
we don't know. We know the
ability
victim is at the
while
hospital.
I'm using my phone like this.
Cannot clarify? All right, so I'm talking to Jay there, Colleen, and he's giving me some information he picks up. I guess maybe even the LAPD doesn't have the whole story yet. So these things are extremely dynamic. We don't know about the victim, but they're at the hospital, so obviously they were injured. We believe only one person inside that vehicle, from what we've been able to tell, just the driver. But you never know, Colleen.
Right.
You know, there could be somebody in the back seat.
3D, welcome.
They could have kidnapped someone. I mean, that's what makes police work so difficult.
Ooh,
Boy,
right
look at
here.
this.
Look at that.
Yeah.
And you're talking
Yeah,
about those tinted windows, Scott. I've said it before.
Whoa.
Look at this. This person is trying to get away. There's obviously a reason.
Why
when
do you do
someone
that?
is taking such extreme risks, there's a reason they do not want to be pulled over. But again, you're just talking about those tinted windows. I actually was pulled over years ago because
You can't
my
pay
windows
out? What do you
were
mean
too
if you
tinted
vote
on
on
my
it? But
car,
if you
and I
don't-
thought,
if you
now I
don't-
see why. They don't. There's no really routine traffic stop, and when a police
you don't
officer
bet, you
or a
can
law enforcement official
end it,
cannot
right?
see inside the vehicle, they're putting their lives at risk each time
Yeah,
they're
we'd have to
pulling
start
over
it at
someone
the
for what would
15-minute
seem
mark,
like
about the
routine
30
traffic
minutes.
stop. So
we're
again,
too far-
we
we're
can't
too
see
far gone
anybody
now, I think.
inside the back seat or in the hatchback part of this car, but we can see that the driver's passenger seat, that seems to be empty. And we did see the driver fidgeting around, driving erratically, and not only fidgeting around, not completely keeping their both hands on the steering wheel. So this person wants to get away. There's no doubt about it. How the police will handle this, because it's such a heavily populated residential area. And, you know, it's kind of incredible that that driver picked the one street that's a cul-de-sac, because you and I know these neighborhoods. There are so many through streets to get to these main thoroughfares in Van Nuys, because it's also a bustling business sort of city as well.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, there's industry in here. There's
Van
a lot of
Nuys.
residential.
That's a little way
that's
from
what makes
LA,
it so
right?
dynamic, if you will. And we've seen a technique or a strategy by the police a couple different times to get a patrol car right up behind the suspect. So obviously they're watching
They're
this.
just in
They
tracking
watch
mode now.
RPs. They watch
They got a
the
helicopter
feed that they get
above.
from their own helicopter. They hear the radio calls. They get all the information. And they have to decide, a supervisor has to decide, hey, you know, go ahead and get on this guy. Or they have to decide, no, just let the helicopter track him. And at least for now, it looks like they're just allowing the helicopter to track him. What's interesting is, though, even when the patrol cars were
I'd
right
love to
behind
see
the
them
suspect,
stop the replay.
suspect drove in the same manner. It didn't
This is
appear
your neighborhood,
that when
Solis?
the patrol cars backed off, the
That's
suspect
crazy.
slowed down or didn't start going into oncoming traffic. He kept that same demeanor, if you will. He kept driving the same. So that will also have an impact on their decision if they would prefer to be right behind the suspect, and if it turns out that being behind him doesn't change his style of driving, they may go back into that mode where they put patrol cars right behind the suspect. But at this point in time, they backed off, and just the helicopter is falling overhead.
Yeah,
They're just
well,
gonna
we're just
keep doing
showing
replay, man. There's nothing
some
special about the
video
replay.
on your
Just
right
show
side of
the
the screen. We're
chase.
showing earlier when that suspect ended up going
nothing
down that
he did that was
cul-de-sac
all that
on Heartland and
interesting.
Beavis. And, you know, this person really, I'm pretty amazed that they did not give up then, because there was a line of police cars, and they then went right beside them and just went right past them, disregarding
Yeah, you
that they
think,
were
Slush?
so close. I mean, it looked like
appreciate
they,
that.
if one
Just a
rolled
lot
out
of
their
people have
window,
watched that
they could have
video,
just
and I'm
touched
really,
the police cruiser. But again, we're watching
touched.
some video of
What's
that
up, John?
moment where if only police could have put a spike strip down at that one spot, because again, this person clearly must know this area.
Yeah, he's
why
just going
they don't
around. What's the
want
point
to
of all this? I've seen people
give
do
up
this so
or
many times.
find a
yeah.
house that they know and go inside. I can't figure that part out, because they really are just driving in squares.
Yeah,
Driving
I
in
mean, who knows,
squares,
right?
not
There's no
circles,
rhyme or
squares.
reason, no sense that we could ever make of these things. Can't get in the mind of that suspect.
No.
But at this point in time, I really believe the spike strip is going to happen soon, because I've seen the suspect make the turn from Vano into Kester, 7 or 8 times. So they can count on the fact
if you want. I mean,
that the suspect is going to come back to that same area, and if they can throw out a spike strip and get the tires flat, they can really reduce the risk of danger to the public, because you just won't see these types of speeds. From time to time, we see speeds up to 80 miles an hour. There you go, patrol car right behind them, open up a little bit. Now, there's what we talked about, Colleen, a change in strategy. Now, all of a sudden, LAPD's decided to put patrol cars behind the suspect. We'll see how long this lasts. We know they've been approved for the pit maneuver, but there are conditions, there are restrictions, if you will, in using that. They have to make sure the area is clear. They have to make sure it's under a certain speed, so the vehicle does just spin around and not flip around. Usually they want to do it when the vehicle is around a corner. It's much easier to make that happen. And we lost the suspect for just a moment. There we go. There is once again. Went by that apartment building, and now we're back on Vesper. We've been on Vesper and Hart multiple times as well. So it's about a 5 or 6 block radius where the suspect has been driving. Boy, close to that vehicle as well. Gives you an idea how dangerous.
He's driving pretty quickly now.
It's very nerve-wracking for these drivers who they're minding their own business, and then you suddenly see this car driving on the wrong side of the road, trying to get around people who are just driving in their neighborhoods, trying to get to their business. And you can see this driver is driving
they're really
at
far
such
away from this
excessive
right now.
speed.
Why are we not over the top
and really putting the community, you see it right there, now going in oncoming traffic, going around these cars. Again, I know each time I'm almost holding my breath, because again,
whoa.
Oh my goodness!
Almost had no place.
They must be near the airport,
right? It's
right?
Again, I mean, that was. You cover pursuits. We cover pursuits. Every day. They're all different, but this person seems to only want to stay in this one small radius.
And if you can go hold out.
That's what has happened. I mean, for the most part, it's been in this one area, and I don't know why. I mean, they don't have officers at these corners. Like, we're back on Kester and Sherman Way, so hopefully they can get them deployed into some of these areas that are on the spike strip, because that really is going to be helpful in slowing this down and reducing the danger to the public in this area. It's
Bill, he's just
trying
to get away.
Go
back to
get the patrol cars behind them for a moment and then back off. I mean,
prediction started. Thank you.
It's got to be difficult for the
we got to do 30 minutes, not 15 minutes. 30 minutes. 30 minutes.
People are watching this and they're saying, "Wow, this is dangerous," and it is. There's no question. And they're saying, "Can't they do something about this?"
All right, if everyone understands.
And as they try to do something to stop it, now look right here. We're at he's desperate to get away. We're at a red light. We've seen this before. Backing up and then going into the parking lot to try and get around. The second time something like this has happened.
Yeah, has he? Came incredibly close to hitting that car when he was in reverse. But have we seen this driver clip any cars? Because as of right now, I haven't seen a true smash.
They are near the airport.
But so close that it seems like he's come within inches.
They seem to have some issue with airspace.
Yeah, it appears to be the case. Very, very close. We haven't seen any damage to the vehicle. We haven't seen the vehicle struck another car, but that's almost incredible that this individual hasn't. It's almost like they have been lucky. But back to my point, you're watching and you say, can't they do something to stop this because it's so dangerous? And as the LAPD tries to move in and do something to stop it, and sometimes they make it even more dangerous. And so that's sort of the toss-up, and that's what makes it so difficult for law enforcement when they do have a pursuit like this, trying to figure out exactly how to proceed, especially in this day and age where if anybody is
I know that a lot of the news stations actually launch their helicopters from Van Nuys. So you would think that a lot of them could easily get to this chase unless they're just somewhere else already.
Into account. But we're back on Van Owen. It wouldn't surprise me that the suspect's going to turn on Kester here again in a moment. That has been the pattern for like 40 minutes now, just staying in this one area.
Yeah, and you are illustrating all the scenarios that are happening within the LAPD. They do have a watch commander who's trying to monitor this, and they're trying to keep they're trying to pull this person over because they are a danger to the public. And it is very scary. At some point you think, okay, if you call it off, but what if this person is armed? What if they do have a rifle in that car?
Merle, they get up there and talk about the traffic in the morning,
They're certainly not going to be doing anything right now, being that they're being followed. So it is such a stressful situation for a watch
No.
Wow, they just get so close.
Someone just
They
subscribed
Well,
to
if we can just
Jenny's
get
channel.
somebody should reach out to the LAPD and say put someone at Kester and Van Owen and someone at Kester and Sherman Way and throw out a spike strip.
The
Because it's been
helicopter
going on
guy is
40 minutes
playing
now,
backseat
and this guy has driven through that
quarterback, armchair
intersection
quarterback.
8-9 times.
No.
So it's
He's like,
worth a
yo, I
shot,
could get
right?
him.
I mean,
I could put out this
maybe they're
spike
not
strip.
seeing
I
what we're seeing.
understand. I
I'm
know
not
what
sure.
to do.
There's a lot of chaos
He's going way
on
too fast.
when the
Yeah,
helicopter
yeah.
is making calls on the radio to alert all the other
what's up, hon?
vehicles down there, the LAPD vehicles, the patrol
I'm
cars.
doing this
where
from
the
my phone
suspect's
'cause I'm
going, where to
actually
go,
at
where they
Niagara
should
Falls
head,
right
where he's
now.
headed. But if he follows the same pattern, we're going to be back to Kester and Sherman Way again. We've seen it. Like I said, 7 or
And I
8
have to
times.
do
It'd be a
something
great
at
place
2
to throw out a
o'clock.
spike strip and at least slow this vehicle down and reduce the risk of someone getting hurt.
Right, and I don't see the LAPD cruisers.
there.
Wow.
They backed off again. It's another thing we see, Colleen, from time to time. If a suspect stays in one area during a pursuit, what we're going to start to see is people coming out to watch. Just a moment ago, there was 5 or 6 individuals on the side, and they were waving at him when he drove by.
Oh.
And what happens, it gets out on social media,
What's up,
everybody
Joanne?
starts to hear about it, and then you get people coming out on these streets just to take a look. We're at Vesper and Van Owen. We've been on that intersection several times, but it wouldn't surprise me if we start seeing more of that as this pursuit continues to go on in this one area. Word will get out and people will come out to see.
I just can't get over it how fast this driver is driving in these residential neighborhoods. Because again, I'm glad to see those humps. We're looking at some video on the right side from earlier, and you can see that this driver finds themselves in peril. And then they need to get out of the situation. So you're looking on the left-hand side. You're seeing them taking speed bumps to slow down their rate of speed. But then on the right, yes, Scott.
We got some new information.
Oh,
Now we
okay.
understand an armed kidnapping suspect. So,
Kidnapping? What? I have an ad? You've got.
Why is the website still not live in English? Did you copy paste all the content?
Possibly the victim that we know is at the hospital. So that just sort of, not just a stolen vehicle suspect. I mean, that's one thing, right? We have a victim has hurt somebody, and they've kidnapped somebody. So
Two separate
they're not going to
people?
back off on this one. They're gonna stay
They
on
kidnapped
this
someone
individual.
and-
I don't know that
and
they'll
shot
put patrol
someone?
cars right
Both?
behind them. But this is an individual they want to get off the street. Not
Yeah, I
only
know
off
the timing,
this
right?
pursuit,
What
but I
the
mean
fuck?
off the street because he's looking at quite a few major charges and a lot of jail time
No kidding. And again, with
in
those
oncoming traffic.
in oncoming traffic, we know that there's persons desperate to get away. The windows are extremely tinted in the back and on the hatchback. We don't know if there is a victim or anybody else inside this vehicle. We don't know. Again, there are so many puzzle pieces here that we're trying to figure out how it all
who
fits
knows what the
together.
fuck that
We
means.
don't
So
know.
somebody's in the hospital. It
kidnapping
could have been the
part,
same person
if
he
that is the
kidnapped?
person who's
I feel
in
like
the
it's
hospital
probably the same
recovering. We don't
person.
know even what kind of
don't.
injuries that person. We don't know if there's anybody in the car. So again, now when we keep saying it's sort of like a faucet with a little drip. We keep getting drip with new information because the police department is so
Flying
busy
through these stop
trying
signs.
to catch this driver. So the media doesn't get as much information. But again, now that we know that this is possibly
it must be
an
Sam was
armed
kidnapped.
suspect
Or he's
who
the
has
one in
been
the
involved
hospital,
in
one or
a
the other.
kidnapping, they're definitely not going to let this suspect go. They are going to stay on it.
Back into oncoming
He
traffic.
drives well,
We're gonna have
well
a
into
crash
incoming
here, Colleen.
traffic.
What's
I'm
happened in the
surprised
last
we
couple of
haven't.
minutes?
I'm surprised
What's
we
happened in the
haven't.
last couple of moments, from what I can tell, is this suspect doesn't care about driving into oncoming traffic. He's driving into oncoming traffic without looking, going around some of the corners into oncoming traffic
Yeah,
without
this could
really
go
looking.
badly for
And in
him.
a situation
He hasn't hit anyone yet. No, he hasn't hit anybody. No, wait. Potential
like that, I
spam?
didn't
No,
really
come
see
on.
that in his demeanor before, just what I've seen in the last. Right behind him.
There's
Now
cops.
he's going backwards, pulling into a driveway, and then now getting away. What's down the street there, Marcel?
I was a little behind.
That's what I was going to say. Are
I
there
should have
police
stayed
in
behind so you
cars
could
in
actually
front.
see what happened here.
Yeah, I
Sorry about
really
that.
believe, Colleen, because what we saw
Cops
in
are
the
right behind
last
him
3 or
now.
4 minutes with the suspect not looking and driving into oncoming traffic, I think they just figured, see people out on the street, they know what's in this area. I think what they decided is we've got to be behind him.
Talk to you
Because
about
it's
your
not
car
like
this
when we're
center,
behind him,
probably.
we're encouraging him to drive more radically. It's
Oh, my
almost
goodness.
like he's trying to hurt someone on purpose. He's going into oncoming
He's trying
traffic
to hurt someone on
without
purpose? He
looking
already
on
did
some of these
that.
street
Robert
corners
Bob, what's
and on
up?
some of these turns. And look at the speed, too. If you have a head-on here, somebody could die very quickly.
And yeah, of
Speeds
course
are
this
60,
happens
70
like a
miles an
decently
hour.
long one
We're
when
back
I'm not
on Cedros. We've been
at
on
my
Cedros
computer.
8 or 9 times as well. We were just on Kester again a moment ago, and we do understand.
And
that they're,
also when I have something
in the
I need to do in a
process of
half
getting
hour
out
here
some
at the
spike
falls.
strips, so hopefully that will
So.
happen, and we'll get this thing slowed down. Because right now, I mean, this is treacherous. This is frightening. It really is.
It really is frightening. And again, how you can be one step ahead of this driver. Yes, they do seem to be taking the same streets in this area, but not exactly the same. So you put a spike strip down on one street, and they're going to take a different one. But we do
So they like
see
tried to
that,
trap him
Van
and he
Owen,
backed up and
Vesper,
got out of the way.
We've seen Tobias. We've seen so many of the same streets where this driver feels very
Yeah, I don't
comfortable
know. It doesn't.
with the
He's
knowledge
definitely
of this
not
area.
trying to
But
literally
again,
get away. He's just like
I'm amazed
dragging
that
it
we're
out,
seeing
dragging it
people
out.
I really am,
He's
Scott.
not even
I
trying to
mean,
get away.
We
have
did. We had a
kids,
few people
yeah.
out
There's
right
no
there.
plan.
We got a person on the corner. They're trying to get some
Yeah,
footage
there's a
of it.
bunch
They're
of,
shooting it with their phone. We're
there's
going to see more and more of this. We're on Van Owen.
There's a bunch
I bet you
of
Nickel makes a right
bingo
turn on
card
Kester
things
in a
going
moment.
on
We'll see
here.
what happens. It could be wrong. But it's happened so many times.
The
into
parade,
oncoming
this is
traffic,
the Euro
but there was
time right
one
here.
turn that was absolutely frightening. Made a left turn without seeing what was coming his way into oncoming traffic, and was just fortunate he did not head on with that individual. We understand there's a little more information. The LAPD is
What's the
not.
information?
Oh, he turned on to Kester off Van Owen. Wow. There's information that they're not giving us, but they have more background information. So that may be to protect
Shut
someone.
up,
Who
GP.
knows? We've got a erratic turn there onto this surface street on Archwood. And
Did someone
certainly,
think I don't-
Colleen, we hate to see
probably?
this. It's
These
just
people
so
just
dangerous. We
yapping,
just hope
yeah.
that nobody gets hurt.
I know, and I just keep thinking about, I have so many friends who live in these neighborhoods as well. There are so many homes here, and these are family neighborhoods, so I just
Damn,
keep
he's coming around these corners. Whoa!
Whoa, somebody
What?
threw something at him.
What?
Yeah.
Somebody
was it
threw a chair at him.
Everyone's
yes.
looking at him.
And it
Oh,
didn't
so there's
look like...
somebody who wants to end this.
Jesus.
No kidding.
My goodness.
It's going to up the cadence again. What is
And there's a patrol car
was
right behind him, and
hilarious.
now he slowed a little bit.
Okay.
I'm not certain if that
That was
scared him, but that
hilarious.
appeared to be just some random individual chucking a chair at
Look
the
at
vehicle.
this.
Now
Whoa,
look, you've
what
got
was
people
that?
out in the roadway.
What?
I mean, does that individual, they must
What
know
is
them,
this?
right? I mean, you wouldn't get out
Why
there
are you
into
out
the
in the
street like that
road?
if maybe you weren't somehow
That's a YouTube
affiliated
short.
with
Yeah,
that
but Kale, I
individual.
don't have
mean,
my
I
own
see on the
face,
curb,
unfortunately,
maybe.
but yeah,
But to
it
get
is.
out into that
Yeah.
lane,
That was
and
insane.
at least for now, the suspect has slowed. The 3 or
That
4
was the
patrol
Good
cars behind
Samaritan
him.
right there.
And
We
this
got
is going
that
to
on
give
the bingo card,
LAPD
too.
some time
Okay, is
actually
this
to
gonna be
deploy
it?
officers to the front as well, just in case. Hold it right
That
here.
was a
Hold
chair
it.
shot. Wait, he's
just
out.
in case it continues on. But it looks like, at least right now, the suspect is
Come on,
exiting the
come on,
vehicle. They're going to
come
want
on.
him to get down on the
Come on,
ground,
come on,
maybe
come
throw
on.
out
The
some
chair
keys. They
did
want
it,
to
man.
clear that vehicle.
The
They
chair
want
actually
suspect in
ended the
custody
tape.
first, and they want to make sure he does not have an
He was like, well,
opportunity
fuck,
to
I
get
don't
back
wanna
in
fuck
that
with these
vehicle
people with their
and
chairs.
drive away, because that means the danger will be over. So
What's
there
he
he is. It
doing?
looks like he's complying.
Whoa.
His hands are up. More than likely, he'll be told to turn around and back up towards officers.
Okay,
There you
that's
go.
it.
Hands on
All
the
right, so
head.
the
A lot
answer
of
on the
times they'll ask him
prediction
to
is
pull
no.
up the shirt so they can check the waistband to see if he has a weapon. But right now, they're content to just have him back up. They're always concerned that there may be someone else inside the vehicle, so they
Chair
don't
was MVP.
rush
Yeah,
the
whoever
individual
threw that
quite
chair.
yet. They want to get that
Whoever
suspect
threw that
in
chair is a
custody,
good
get him
Samaritan,
face
and they
down
actually
on the
succeeded.
pavement. Move in where they think it's safe for them to
You
move
guys should
in,
have seen
and
all the
then they
people
can clear
around
the
me when that
vehicle.
happened.
But
I
fortunately,
was like,
Colleen, it
whoa,
looks
and
like the
everyone's
danger
looking
is
at me.
over. This had the potential to hurt or kill someone, and from what we can tell, it's ending without incident. We don't
Apparently
believe
this guy
the suspect
already
hit
hurt
anyone,
someone.
although we do believe that suspect kidnapped someone.
Sean was the
and that
only one who
individual
said
may
no.
have been injured because we do
He got
understand there's a
3,000
victim.
more points.
Doing all the details at the hospital.
Jeez.
Yeah, and you can clearly
chair
see the
stopped him. Yeah,
suspect
someone
is,
threw a chair
is doing what the
from their
officers are
front
telling
yard.
him to do right
Seriously,
now.
someone threw a
Laying
chair from
straight
their
down.
front yard
Again,
and
this
hit
is
the
still
car.
scary.
Like, that was
You
good
just-
timing,
it's
man.
never
He was moving
routine.
pretty fast. I'm
They
impressed.
think that the person might be
Yeah.
armed.
That would take
At
real
this
strength
point,
and
hopefully
good
that
timing.
person is not
There's
armed,
good
doesn't
hand-eye
do anything
coordination,
to,
good
scare
strength,
the officers
like just
here. But you see,
overall really great
this is just not
execution
wise to come
of
out
that
and
chair
take video
shot.
of this. You just never know what could happen, and you're this
Yeah, crazy
close
speeds in oncoming
to
traffic,
a
no big deal,
situation. I
but
just look
the
at that
plastic
person with
chair,
their phone,
that's
and
it.
I think
Gotta
that
pull
is
over.
not the right place.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it's just
They're in the line of
absolutely
fire.
not
If this
a-
turned into a gun battle with someone
Right.
inside that vehicle, they're in the line of fire.
Exactly.
It was really
There's a bunch
interesting,
of people
Colleen.
in the
You know,
streets and
someone
shit. That was
threw a
nice.
chair that vehicle.
Man,
and
the
after that,
chair
came around the
thing
corner
was
and slowed down,
legendary.
and then there was a woman
It was those
in the
one
lane
more
in the
plastic
middle. It looks
chairs.
like
It
more
looked
than
like
likely
it.
she may have known him because she was
I
trying to
think
get him to
so.
stop.
I mean, I
and
don't
give
know. It looked
himself
like
up.
it
That's
might
what
have
it
been
looked like.
a
Right,
folding
and
chair.
it
But
does
you're
make
probably
you
right.
think
It's probably just one of
it had
those
to
big
be.
one mold
I
like
agree
lawn
with you
chairs.
in the idea that that person may have known this person saying, "Okay, stop now." Like they're watching.
It looked like
they're
it came
hearing
from
the
pretty far
helicopters
away
as well.
too.
But it does look
Yeah,
like a
it's
The
all
person
peaceful
wasn't just sitting
surrender right
a
there.
beach folding chair. I thought it
Yeah.
looked
Great.
like or like a
Nobody
deck
hurt.
chair.
Again,
or something. I don't
We don't know
know.
about the victim,
Like
but
a
nobody
wooden
hurt in
chair.
the pursuit, and that's pretty incredible.
But it probably was a
after
plastic
so many
one.
close calls at such a high rate
Yeah.
of speed.
And you know what, Scott, we want to take a moment where you can see earlier video. You can
Okay,
see
they're
this.
gonna
This
show
is
us
that
some
moment
replay
when you
real
see
quick.
someone stand behind
I'm
their,
glad it ended
their
when it
gate
did, man.
and they
I'm
threw
like,
that chair.
on
And that
a-
sort of stopped, that took that driver out of
there
the
he is.
trance of keep on driving.
it's a white
Boom.
guy.
And then they turn the corner,
I
and then
can't
we're going
tell
to see
for
the
sure,
people
but-
standing in the middle of the street where they're trying to stop this driver. But again,
Well,
there's
the
the chair.
chair.
There's that person who
I
threw
think it
the
was
chair
folded
at
up,
this
dude. I
driver.
think it was flat.
And then it kind of stopped. It stopped the flow of the dangerous
There's the oddest
speed.
ending
That,
I've
it
seen.
really
That
did
was a
seem
really
like it
interesting
just
one.
knocked that
Throwing a
driver
chair.
to
I
get out
love
of
random shit like
the
that.
dangerous.
I wish I was at home so I
speed
could have got a
territory.
great
Wouldn't you say,
reaction clip,
Scott?
but I think it was good enough. I'll post
Oh
it.
yeah, it was interesting. I'm not certain if that's what did it, but certainly once
Chair
the
throwing
chair
animated
hit
remote,
the
that's a good
car,
idea.
he did slow down, and then there was that woman in the right
Vigilante
lane who
chair
appeared to
kill.
possibly know him,
People in
and
the
then he
valley
slowed
are
down, and
not so
moments after
holy.
that, he gave himself up. But
Yeah,
boy,
and
we
all
had
that
so
driving,
many
like
close
even
calls,
backing up
Colleen,
and getting away from the
you
police
watch
just
these
to
things, and
stop
innocent
suddenly.
people get hurt and get killed all the time in these pursuits, and this was an
But shout
extremely
out to
dangerous
Chair
one. So
Tosser, man.
fortunately today, what we're seeing
Excellent.
is no one
If
in the
anybody
pursuit
knows the
was
chair,
hurt.
the
So
chair
thank goodness
tosser,
for that.
let me
No kidding.
talk
Again,
to them.
we're
Get them,
following this. We're
get
going to try to
them
get more
my,
details on exactly what happened here. But again, you are watching Eyewitness News right
My
now. We're going to
contact
gather
info.
more information. We're going to bring you the very
And
latest
also,
on
go listen to my
Eyewitness News
song.
at 11 a.m.
So on my
Again, I'm
YouTube
Colleen
channel,
Sullivan, along with Scott
Snooze
Wright.
Fighting,
We will bring you
you can
back to
find the
regular
official
programming.
video of the song. And if
This has been
you go on Spotify, you can actually find it. Or you go on YouTube Music, or you go on anything you want. Okay, it's on everything. So I don't care if you're using Deezer or Tidal or whatever, that's what it is. So go do that. Didn't even hit the windshield. It looked like you just hit like the back door. Like one of the back doors. Thanks, Phil, is spamming the link. Appreciate it. Check it out. Listen to it. A lot of people have watched the video, and I really appreciate that. But I am at Niagara Falls, and I am actually live with Jenny right now. And yeah.
I connected the Wi-Fi to this place, and it's like so good.
Really?
And in there, the AC is like so strong.
Oh,
and
this
you're
is
just,
nice
like,
in there.
suffering.
Yeah, I'm suffering out here. Okay, everybody. I can't raid right now. I'm just going to end the stream, but we are on Crispy Jenny's channel out here in Niagara Falls doing an IRL stream, and it's very fun. So come over to twitch.tv/CrispyJenny. And yeah, just thanks everyone for support on the song, on the video, on the stream. All right. Raid's going. Oh, Scentless has got it running. Okay, Scentless, thank you so much.
It's so hot. Like,
It's really hot where I am right
it's
now.
a sauna.
Yeah.
It's actually kind of like, it feels like a steam room.
Did we raid? We did. Okay, great.
They